Hi, everyone. I'm Kristin Cicero. I am the Strategic Account Manager for Classic. I am based here in New York City, and I have Colter Fleming, who is also a strategic Account Manager, who is going to introduce himself. But I just personally wanted to welcome you to our new podcast series called Get to Know Classic from the Inside. So, Colter, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Right on. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. So my name's Colter Fleming. I'm based in Orange County. Started with Classic back in December, so about 8-9 months into the role. Just want to welcome you all. We're going to be interviewing, folks from our own team, so you can better understand how Classic works from the inside out. Today we have the privilege of joining us. Our guest speaker is Robert Sasaki. Robert, take it away. Tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us about your time at Classic, maybe about your career. What do you really do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, Colter, thank you. Kristin as well for having me. It's really a pleasure. My name is Robert Sasaki. I've been with Classic for, a little over 10 years. I started in 2009, right after the Great Recession or the Great Financial Crisis. It's been a heck of a journey. So I'll rewind a little bit, and I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii. I spent the first 18 years of my life there before moving to California and attending Santa Clara University. I graduated in 2009, which was a very difficult time in the job market. Luckily, I took the first job that I saw, which was with Classic Vacations. Started off in reservations, worked my way through groups. Was with groups for about 4 or 5 years before transitioning to product in 2015, and have been with the product department ever since. So it's been quite the journey, but it's been really rewarding, and I kind of fell into the travel industry. But the longer you stay in the travel industry, it's something that it's just, there's something about it. There's a magnetic pull, and you really it's really been a gratifying road. So it's been a long journey, but I'm kind of excited where I am now.
That's awesome. Yeah. And what does being on the product team really mean? Like, what does your day-to-day job sort of look like? What do you manage? Tell us a little bit more about that so that our listeners have some context.
Sure. So the product development team at Classic Vacations is, I guess you could say, it's supplier relations, supplier engagement. What we really do is we contract with all of our preferred properties. We manage the contracts, the terms and conditions. We also try to set out guidelines for marketing and what we want to feature, how we want to feature it. We do a lot of training for our reservations team to ensure that, they're the premier reservations department in the industry, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's one of the key things of our value proposition that we provide to our travel advisor community, is really having that information, that knowledge base, making sure it flows through to our teams, whether it's the sales team, whether it's reservations, and having that information available to disseminate to our customers. I mean, that's really one of the key things that we pride ourselves about. And it's one of the reasons why, we've had 6 years of Virtuoso's best FIT tour operator. I mean, there's a lot that goes into having the accolades and having the partnerships that we do externally facing. And a lot of that is driven from the actual people. So from my standpoint, from our standpoint in product, we have the frontline relationships with the hotel partners, with the people on the ground in the destination. And we really try to move that information. We're kind of the gatekeepers, and we really need to make sure that information flows smoothly. That's never been more critical than what we're facing right now in the industry. This is unprecedented times, and we all know that the situation is fluid, but we're managing right now destinations that are closing, governments that are really doing their best to control the health and the safety of their destinations, of their people, and they're balancing that with the need for tourism, which, I manage the Caribbean region. So for the Caribbean, tourism really is the main economic driver for all of these islands. And trying to find that balance is not easy. So you'll see things like the Bahamas, you know, they opened up with testing requirements, and they saw a surge in COVID cases. Well, they had to do what was right for the people. And overnight, I think this was about 3 weeks ago, they stopped entry into the country for US citizens. And that was all in regard to protecting their local communities. I mean, I know we all want to travel, but you know, when you really look at these islands, they have very small health infrastructures, and so trying to balance that and everything changing so much on a daily basis, we need to get this information out there. So, case in point, for the Bahamas, the Prime Minister announced the closure to U.S. citizens on a Sunday evening. On Monday, we had 2 bookings traveling to the Atlantis properties. Our customer service team was on it that morning. We helped get them back to the United States. We reached out to every traveler traveling within the next 2 weeks, and we made sure that they're aware of what was going on so that they could adjust their travel plans. And I think right now, the flow of information has never been more important, because at the end of the day, from our perspective, what we want to ensure is that our customers are safe, that they have a good travel experience, and that we do everything we can to ensure that they have a good experience. So, yeah.
Well, that's just another set of why we are so great in customer service, because we reach out to our clients and we make sure that they know what is going on. Now, I have another question for you, because I do get this a lot. Why are we always dropping and adding hotels? Or why can't we pick up certain hotels when advisors say, hey, can Classic get this hotel as a non-Ian property, as a Classic preferred property? Can you explain so our travel advisors do know what the contracts do state? Because we do protect our travel advisors a lot in our contracts, correct?
Correct. And that's one of the main things that we look at when we contract with a new hotel. We do have a very stringent process that includes legal contracting, business contracting, and ultimately at the end of the day, we want to be able to ensure that we're providing the best value to our travel advisors as possible. So if we have properties that aren't going to honor specific terms, specific clauses that are intended to provide our travel advisors with the best amounts of commission, to ensure that clients are protected in the event of weather, in the event of overbooking. These are all terms that we put into place to ensure that our customers are protected. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is we would love to have every property that our customers want to sell. The reality is that the classification stamp of approval, if you will, or what we consider a preferred property, we do require certain types of standards, so that if you're booking a property through classifications, this is the minimum of what your clients are going to receive. That's kind of in line with our philosophy, with our best-in-class all-inclusive. We look at investment per room. We look at the F&B aspect of it. We look at the physical plant to ensure that it's a quality product that we're adding there, and our customers know what they're going to get when they travel. So that's all part of it. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we just want to ensure that our customers and our travel advisors are protected.
Nice. I love that. I feel like I have a much better idea about, what you do and what your team does and how that, interacts with our constituents. So thank you for sharing that. Sort of switching directions here, trying to get, into a little bit more fun. You've been with this company and in the travel business for quite some time. So you must have, at least one or two favorite destinations, maybe even, I don't know if you can say it or not, one or two favorite properties around the world. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, that must have been huge reason for you to just take this first job and stick with it for as long as you have, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, really, travel opens your eyes, it opens the doors, and it really gives you a different perspective on life in general. I think you're a more understanding person. You broaden your horizons. Favorite destinations. Well, the first, that would be pretty easy for me, Oahu. I was born and raised in Honolulu. So my favorite destination, You have a combination of a lot of energy. You have great world-class beaches. You have amazing outdoor activities. But it's a sprawling city. I mean, you're looking at, 800,000 plus people living on Oahu. You get kind of the best of both worlds. I guess if I were to transition back to the Caribbean, I think Turks might be, Turks or St. Bart's would be 1A and 1B for me personally. Turks and Caicos, first and foremost, because you have everything. So if you want a little bit more, you want restaurants, you stay on Provo. There's good energy, there's good excitement, there's great cuisine there, and of course, world-class beaches. But if you want to get away, if you want to really be secluded, if you want to be intimate, you have Como Parrot Key, you have Ambergris Creek, you have Sail Rock Resort on South Caicos. There's so many options, whether you're traveling as a family and you want a multi-bedroom unit on Grace Bay, or you want one of the private estates in Como. Ambergris Key just announced that they're going to be adding 4-bedroom villas to their inventory. Again, amazing for families. If you're going as a couple, you have to remember these are world-class beaches. Again, I say that because the beaches there are breathtaking. So you want to get away and you want to be private, you can go to Como Parrot Key. If you want something chic and sexy, you can go to Waimara. The classic for the gold standard of luxury is Grace Bay Club. You get a little bit of both with the Shore Club. I mean, I could go on forever, but Turks and Caicos is a fantastic, there's just really something for everyone. St. Bart's is one of my personal favorites just because of what I like to do. I'm a big foodie. So St. Bart's gives you that, it's a different experience. The properties are well spread out throughout the island. They're all very boutique, so I would say they're all under about 60 or 50 rooms, so it gives you that nice intimate feeling. But the biggest difference I would say between St. Bart's and Turks is that in St. Bart's, typically everyone rents a car. And the nice thing is the hotels like Hotel La 20, your parking spot is right in front of your individual unit, so it gives you that feeling of comfort. And when you drive around, the F&B in St. Bart's is world class. Lisola, one of my favorite restaurants, is actually an Italian owner. It's in Gustavia. It's nestled in the back of Gustavia, which if you do go to Gustavia, go a little bit early to see the sunset, have a drink, and then go have your dinner. It's amazing. But Lisola is Italian owners, and they import everything from Italy. They actually have a sister restaurant in Santa Monica. So if you're ever making your way out there, Colter, I would take a look at it. I don't know the name of it, but what I'll do is I'll shoot it to you after this podcast. But,
I would love that.
The shopping. So I visited St. Bart's 3 years ago with my mom and my wife. And I could have just left them all day in Gustavia. There's these boutiques that you won't find in the US, small boutiques. But they were just in love. I went down to a cafe, grabbed a beer, just took it easy. They were so occupied all day. And then you still have the world-class beaches. So really fantastic destination.
That's interesting. So now, so you gave us one that wasn't your destination of Oahu. What's your second of your Caribbean product that, besides St. Bart's and Turks, what would be another favorite island of yours? Or
I think I would have to do, I'd have to say Antigua and St. Lucia. And I don't really know if I could really highlight one over the other because they're very similar, but very different in a lot of ways. St. Lucia reminds me of Hawaii. And I think there's a comforting feeling to that. A lot of people reference it as the Garden Isle of the Caribbean in reference to Kauai in the Hawaiian Islands. And it's because there's the elevation, the contrast in elevation, the green, lush topography. There's something about St. Lucia that is uniquely different than the flatter sandbar type of islands in the Caribbean, which Turks is, which Antigua is. You really get, you have drive-in pitons, you have sulfur springs. There's so much unique charm to St. Lucia. I think what also makes St. Lucia special, and people may not be aware of this, but there was a huge struggle between the British and the French in terms of colonialization back in the day. And what that has done to St. Lucia today is it's created a real mix of different cultures, different cuisine that kind of leaves St. Lucia very distinct in terms of a cultural flair from other islands. Antigua has a little bit, it's a flatter island, but what I really love about Antigua is the properties in Antigua are so unique, and that translates both to St. Lucia and Antigua. There's nothing like the properties in St. Lucia and Antigua, pretty much anywhere else in the world. If I were to have some call outs, I mean, if you look at Ladera and Jade Mountain, two examples, they have the 3-wall open concept. So one wall is completely missing, you're exposed to nature. Ladera is perched on top of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, overlooking Sugar Beach and the world famous pitons in St. Lucia. That is something that you will never forget. Checking in and walking over, their bar and their pool is kind of in a common area. It's very close to check-in. When you walk to the edge, because it's built on a cliff, and you look over, all you see is Sugar Beach below you. I think it's about 1,000 feet. And then you have 2 pitons. It's one of the most scenic places that I've ever been to. The same for Jade Mountain, although Jade Mountain has a little bit of a different feel to it. And then you go to Antigua and you have destinations like Hermitage Bay, individual units perched on a hillside overlooking basically a private cove. You have Jimby Bay, which is a private island that is absolutely pristine. And what's really nice about these islands is, we keep hearing people want all-inclusive, but they want all-inclusive that's not maybe so large. They don't want all the energy because they're looking to escape. Well, if you're looking for something like that, St. Lucia and Antigua are absolutely perfect. I don't know if everyone's aware, but most of the properties in St. Lucia and Antigua have full all-inclusive or full meal plan rate options. So you don't need to leave the property, and the F&B is absolutely stellar. So between those 2 islands, I mean, I really don't think you could go wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you for that feedback. Now, I think we're going to start to wrap up soon because we don't want to make this, too long, but I have one last question for you. So if anybody has let's just say moving forward, a special request or they need something, what do you suggest from the product side of the Caribbean we tell them or you would like to tell them?
Absolutely. I mean, so I think ultimately, as a company, we're in this together. Our travel advisors are the heart and soul of our overall business. If they need contacts for direct to people at the resort, reach out to your strategic account manager, and we can get that information. If you need VIP sent over, reach out. We can get that sent over as well. Our goal is to grow the partnership, not just with us and the advisor or us and the hotel, but ultimately the 3 of us together. We're all in this industry. We're all going to make it together. We're all going to succeed together. And, that's something that we definitely want to push forward.
Well, thank you, Robert. It was a pleasure sitting with you
Likewise.
for these past 20 minutes. I hope that, everybody does enjoy what you have explained to us regarding the Caribbean product. Colter, I don't know if you have anything else.
No, I mean, Robert, one last fire away question here. You got something on your bucket list that once, all of this is over, you're looking to go to, you and your family? Where do you want to go next?
I'm personally waiting to fly back to Hawaii. As soon as the 14-day quarantine is lifted, I will be in Oahu. Hopefully my family's there, my wife's family is there. So that's the ultimate goal. I think after that, I have a huge desire to go to Italy and to Europe. I think with all that they've been through, the Caribbean as well, but I really want to get to traveling and get out there and really be to different destinations. So I will be back to the Caribbean for sure, but outside of the Caribbean, I would definitely want to be in Italy.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we go,
yeah, what's up?
You can't ask me that without answering on your side. So what's the first destination you both are looking to travel to once we're back to normal?
You got to have one, Kristin. Give me a sec here.
I can't wait to get back to Italy. The wine, the food, just being able to walk through a piazza, it's just what I cannot wait to do.
Good answer.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
answer. With everything going on right now, as you guys know, getting married in December, whether that's at our venue or in a backyard for vacation rental, whatever happens, we've got our date. We're sticking with it. Maybe we have to, postpone the reception till next year, but whatever. So, playing it a little safe in terms of not knowing who's going to open or not. I booked our plane tickets to Cancun in April, which is Tori's spring break. She works at a preschool here locally. So we're going to have kind of what we're calling a funny moon after our wedding. We're going to Santa Fe for a few days, kind of like an annual family trip on my side of the family. We kind of do something over New Year's, but in April, we're hoping to go to Cancun. And I don't know, where we're going to stay, whether it's Playa del Carmen or, Cancun proper or Tulum or whatever, but sort of looking to that as our next time we're going to be getting on a plane, most likely. So realistically, looking forward to that. Although aspirationally, I think I would love to get back to Cape Town one day as a tourist. I studied abroad there in school, but that was very educational. Had a lot of fun, but I want to go back sometime and take Tori there. So those are my spots.
Well, we're going to have to get Mie on then from Mexico. Mie is going to have to come on with us, and we're going to have to pick Mie's brain.
Maybe that's our next guest.
Yeah, maybe we can get Mie. Mie handles our Mexico product.
Well, Robert, it was awesome getting to know you, working on this with you. I hope that, our partners and our travel advisors really enjoy learning more about what you do and what we do and how sort of some of our departments interact together. And thank you for being our first up in this series.
Yes, thank you, Robert.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, be safe.
Likewise. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.